Okay, hello there, welcome back to another Nazarene Rodin podcast, Talkfest, where we talk crap for an hour and we hope you're going to enjoy it.
Yes.
We'd like to put a shout out to Isaac's SGS Films new podcast as well. Is it Folgers and Ashers?
Yes.
It's a good podcast. They're still working at the tech stuff, but they get into some interesting films that you may not have heard of, so I'd say go over there. If you like this podcast, go over there and look at their podcast. They're just starting it just now. Isaac was on a few shows ago here as a guest. The podcast is slowly building, so there were some really good films they covered last week. So
yeah, I think they're up to episode 3.
Yes.
It's well worth checking out.
Yes, and they do cover very good films, very bad films. In this podcast here, we're going to cover the bad films that we own, because we thought because we're just coming back into the new year, we'd start off with a silly one.
Something light.
Yeah. And of course, we got a bit delayed. Plus, it's January, and everyone's lazy in January, so we end up coming in February before we started again. But
yes, it's now February, so January's in the rearview mirror. So
yeah, thank God.
Yes,
because my January was awful, and I think yours was too. So I think we're
yes, it wasn't great.
Yeah, so it's like we're both happy to see the back of January. So we're here with all our bad films. I'm pretty sure that my list was much more embarrassing than Rodin's, because I actually own what I would consider the worst film ever made. But I'll get to that.
Yes. Obviously, bad films are subjective, like good films. There are books written about, bad films, but sometimes you can justify them, kind of.
I can in my own head, and that's as far as I'll go. This is, my definition is, I either got bad films because I'm a completionist for a director or a genre or a series of films.
Yes.
Or, better still, I'm a connoisseur of crappy films. My thing about collecting really bad films, I'm hopeless. And the weird perverse thing with me is, the higher the definition of having a really bad film in Blu-ray is, for me, is something wonderful, because it's seen it well above quality, well above what it deserves.
Yes. Then you just wait for it to come out in 4K.
Oh yeah, I can actually cover one film in 4K already. Do you want me to do the 4K film then before we start?
Yeah, what the hell, go for it.
This one, I can't even defend this one, because I actually bought it. It was actually part of a package when I bought my 4K player. I was buying a new player. I haven't got my 4K TV yet, but I'll get there. But I need a new player, so I thought I'll just get a 4K player because it plays Blu-rays and DVDs. Just get it, and because otherwise you have to buy a 4K player when you buy a TV. So you might as well just get one just now. It was a sale on at Christmas, so I got the player, and I got it from Zoom. They give you 5 films free with it, so it made this buying the player feel a lot better. Yeah. And there was a couple of films I actually wanted to have, so that was fine. So it felt like a good package, but they also gave me one film that is absolutely indefensibly appalling. It's a mainstream film. It's The Dark Tower, and anyone's seen The Dark Tower knows how bad it is.
I haven't watched it.
It's awful. It's terrible. It's indefensible, but I'm kind of bizarrely proud to have it in 4K just because it's so bad. But it wasn't my fault.
Is it bad?
It's just boring bad. It's just...
See, that's the worst of bad.
Yeah,
train wrecks you can kind of enjoy, especially if you know the history of it and the production history, but bad films that are just dull, that is the death blow, pretty much.
Yeah, it's just... in a sense, a good cast, they spent a lot of money on it, but they didn't have a script, and that was the problem. The script was based on Stephen King stories about the Dark Tower. I've read some of the books. The books are fun. This does not feel like those books. It's so that Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey, and they're both trying their best, but it's one of those things to watch the actors in a film that they know has gone wrong, and no matter how much they try, there's nothing they can do about it. But it's a terrible film, so it's the one you can't judge me too much because I was part of a package. I wasn't buying it for it, but that's the only one I've had defence with. The rest are. I'll let you do one now. There you go.
Well, I was going to say, the sequels, and we'll probably just get to sequels at some point, but I'll just name 2 Guy Ritchie films that get a lot of abuse, but I actually kind of like them, which is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and King Arthur, which aren't great, but I actually think they're a lot better than people seem to give them credit for. They do get a hammering, but I kind of like them.
I like them too. Like, I think Man from U.N.C.L.E. didn't do well, but I think it was reviewed okay. It was just one of those films that it came out and it just was like, it's not Mission Impossible. And so it got bad. It just kind of fell away, but I think when people saw it, it was like, that's a fun movie. I enjoy it. King Arthur is a bit more of a mess.
Yes.
But I enjoyed it as well, because I like King Arthur movies. But
yeah, it's like Lock, Stock, Excalibur.
Yeah. It's really silly, but the actors are enjoying themselves. I heard there's a lot of post-production issues in that film where they had some problems and they cut a major part out from somebody. So there was issues, but I still enjoyed it.
It's certainly not dull.
No.
It does rattle along.
It's a complete mess.
Yeah.
But I like it. I have another one that's a complete mess that I really liked, because I'm a big fan of the Wachowskis, right? Even though they're mad. They're genuinely mad a lot of the time in the films, but I kind of like that because they do stuff that most people would not do.
Does this get Channing Tatum in it?
Yes. And it's in
I haven't actually seen it. I can't actually.
It's in 3D. I've got the 3D version. It's Jupiter Ascending with Eddie Redmayne as the villain, whispering and yelling. And I mean, it's one of those films where everyone but the leads are a lot of fun. The leads are the thing that kills it, because they don't have. The lead characters are the most boring part of the film when the lead actors don't know what they're doing. But everyone else around them is a lot of fun. And it looks amazing, and it's a total mess. But it's a mess made by directors who are got talent.
Yeah, but at least they're having a go.
Yeah, they've gone off the rails completely in this film, but that's what makes it lovable. I've got 1 or 2 other ones that like that as well, that are big budget films by good directors who went completely off the rails. Because of Last Action Hero.
Yeah, I mean that I think is a lot better now looking in the rearview mirror.
Yes.
Charles Dance is fantastic in it.
Yeah, it was a massive bomb when it was released, right? And it's a complete mess, but I saw it in the cinema, I loved it. I enjoy it still. It's a fun mess. And I've also
I don't.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say I don't think it deserves to be on this list, because I think it's actually pretty good. It's just at the time nobody really understood what they were going for, really. Well,
honestly, most of the films I've got on my list, I'll happily own up to enjoying.
Yeah.
So I'm not that. I'm happy to admit I've got to own them. Also, Hudson Hawk. The infamous Hudson Hawk, which I saw in the cinema. And I'm still a big defender of that film, even though it's a complete mess.
Yeah, but again, it still has a lot of merit.
Yes. It's written by Daniel Waters, who wrote Heathers, and who wrote Batman Returns and Demolition Man, and he's done a lot of good stuff. He's done a lot of weird stuff. And Michael Lehman, who did Heathers, directed it, and there's a lot of good actors in it doing weird stuff in it. So it's a fun movie, but it's just a total mess. It's just insane. It's like they gave a lot of money to people who just went crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got two really mainstream blockbusters that get a lot of hate. One is John Carter.
Oh, yeah.
The other is The Lone Ranger.
I don't have those on my list, but I agree with you, they're good.
Yeah, I mean, John Carter, obviously it lost a lot of money, and that's why it got the reputation as a bomb. And yes, the lead character is a bit dull, but it's way better than any of the Star Wars new releases, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. The way that he learns the language is a nice, interesting little mechanic. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. It reminds me of a film I don't have on my list, but I should have. Is 13th Warrior, the John McTiernan film.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's another one where someone learns a new language, goes to a foreign land.
Yeah, it's a nice way of doing it.
Yeah. And the other one was Lone Ranger.
The Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
Which, yes, a lot of people complained because Johnny Depp's playing a Native American, but it's really dark. It's essentially about the genocide of the Indians. There's nods to Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, yes, Armie Hammer isn't the greatest leading man in the world, but again, I think
he's appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a lot darker, and I think maybe that was one of the things why it didn't do very well.
Yeah, well,
yes, it's a bit of a mess, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, because Armie Hammer's meant to be a doofus. He's playing a doofus. That's a joke. Plus, that last 20 minutes with the train is an amazing sequence. It's one of the best action scenes of this decade. Easily.
I just think it was a bit dark for people because, again, it focuses on genocide. There's a scene where somebody eats somebody's heart. You know, it's quite kind of wonderful though.
I love. Actually, I love both those films. Those films, I am a big fan of both of them. I've actually got John Carter on 3D. I'd happily watch it any time. Same with Lone Ranger.
I'll always bang the table for John Carter. I mean, the way it jumps from time and place, I just think it got the label because it lost so much money, so that makes it a terrible film, but it's not a terrible film.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've got. I think John Carter. I think it's a film. It's better the second time around because you understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
The first time it's like what's going on here? And it's a bit jumpy, but once you've seen it and you know it, it's a lot easier to understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got another epic one. It was a massive bomb, and it's utterly indefensible as a film, but to quote Exorcist 2, it's horrible yet utterly fascinating. It's Oliver Stone's Alexander.
Again, I haven't actually seen that one.
I saw it in the cinema. It's terrible, but I keep going back to it.
Is it a director's cut of that one?
Yeah, there's so many cuts of it. It's insane how many director's cut Oliver Stone's made. He can't let it go. He just can't let it go. He has to keep going with it and just... It's a real mess, but I'm kind of fascinated because everybody's miscast.
Is that one with Colin Farrell?
Yeah, he's completely miscast in that film. Jared Leto's in it, I think, as well. Miscast. It's just terrible in every way. The dialogue's so bizarre. It's like the people who wrote it can't speak English, even though it was English speakers who wrote it. It's just ill-judged in every possible way, which means that obviously I love it because it's just so wrong in every possible way.
Well, I've just got one more kind of mainstream blockbuster, which is actually quite recent, which is Rampage with Dwayne Johnson, which does actually border on being dull. You would think Dwayne Johnson with a giant white gorilla, a giant wolf, a giant alligator, crocodile type monster would be enjoyable, big dumb fun, but it's actually a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, I saw it in cinema because I took my nephew to see it, and it's one of those films I think where anytime the humans are involved, it's that boring. But anytime you see the giant animals, it's fun.
It should be a lot better than it actually is.
I know.
I like Dwayne Johnson. He's a likeable guy, but some of the films he's in,
yeah, terrible stuff.
Yeah.
just terrible. Yeah, I know what you mean though, that one. It's not on my list in any way, but it is kind of
should have been way better.
I know it should have been.
But that's the thing. Making big dumb fun, it's actually harder than people think. It's like making spoof films, like The Naked Gun or whatever. It's harder than people actually think.
Yeah, and making a good bad film is an art form in itself. Because I'm going to go to two films now that are genuinely funny, but that were meant to be serious. Because I've got The Happening and The Island of Dr. Moreau.
I have one of those films, and it's The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Of course you do.
I don't have The Happening.
Everyone should have The Island of Dr. Moreau. It's amazing in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, it is enjoyable though.
Yeah.
It does have wonderful moments.
I know, but it just falls apart though. I mean, it's like the script's appalling. It's like they didn't have a clue where they were going, and it just wanders from scene to scene, and without any pace at all. But it's a wonderful mess though, isn't it? It's really weird. Yeah. But I've done a video on this one. This is one of my biggest videos, the ones that have most watched videos for Island Dr. Moreau, so I'll pimp it even more.
Go figure.
Yeah. I think everyone wants to see something about a mess, really.
Yeah.
But have you seen The Happening?
I haven't seen The Happening. I haven't caught up with M. Night Shyamalan for quite some time.
Oh, you have to see The Happening. The Happening is hilarious. It's so bad, but it's so funny because they cast Mark Wahlberg as a teacher, and his expressions in every scene is as if he's like learning disabled. It seems like a problem. And
on you go.
I'll let you see what you can say.
No, I was just going to say I've seen the honest trailer for it, and some of the lines of dialogue are just beyond belief, and the delivery.
I know
the shift in tone is just bizarre.
I know the whole film for that. Like, everybody talks weird. It's addictive. You're watching it, you're addicted to it, and it's like I've had that in DVD and Blu-ray because it's so. It's there's something about it that once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
It's suddenly it's in your bloodstream. You have to get more and more and more.
I might have to pick up a copy. I'm sure it'll be cheap.
Oh, it's amazing. I highly recommend it. It's like heroin. That's as far as I can say about it. It's like heroin. The Happening is like heroin. Also, Last Airbender, another one that's terrible but bizarrely enjoyable.
I think I've only seen bits of that.
It's unwatchable trash. It's just unwatchable, but bizarrely watchable despite being unwatchable. It's just like, how did this get made type of thing. It's like the dialogue and delivery, that is awful as well. So I'll pass it back to you now.
Just some bad 80s horror films like Creepazoids, Evil Speak, and Trapped Alive. Trapped Alive is a fairly recent Arrow release about a slasher down a mine, which the making of is way more interesting than the actual film.
Oh, right, yeah.
Creepazoids is obviously an Alien rip-off, which seemed to be made for about $100.
Is that Norman Warren or is that a different one?
Sorry?
Is that a Norman T. Warren one or is that a...
No, that's a different one.
Alright.
Well, Linnea Quigley, it's quite bad.
Alright, well that should tell you something.
Yes. And Evil Speaks had Clint Howard from Gentle Ben.
Alright, he's in a lot of trashy films.
Yeah, that's really quite bad. I've got that in a Scream Factory edition. It came in a job lot. That's my excuse.
Alright. So you including the trashy, unwatchable stuff then?
Yeah.
Just the films made by people who are probably were on antidepressants when they were making it.
Yes, when the making ofs are better than the actual film and more interesting than the film, then you've got an issue.
I've got the ultimate making ofs better than the film in my list. It's the comedy version of Casino Royale.
Ah.
Yes. Unwatchable film. a completely unwatchable film. It's so terrible.
Yes, people just seem to turn up.
I know, but the stories behind it's amazing. But all the different ego trips going on and all the strangeness and directors wandering in and out, dealing with Peter Sellers. It's the behind the scenes is stunning, and the film is like you feel that you're just going to lose your mind watching it. It's just so bad. It's just terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It's pretty cheap. It's but actually watching the film was, even in Blu-rays and endurance test, I had to do it in bits. I couldn't do it all the way through. It was just, and I can sit through almost anything, but this thing just destroyed me because it was like it was the worst work by so many good people.
Yes. I'll do I think a 70s horror, Tower of Evil, which
The Vincent Price?
No, it's the one that's set in a lighthouse.
Alright.
And again, it's a British one, even though it's British actors with American accents. And it's just a bit of a mess. Again, cheap. And it looks like it.
Yeah.
I have it in Blu-ray, of course.
Of course you do. I've got the Lust for a Vampire Hammer one. That's one of the worst Hammer movies. It's one of the ones you have to have as completionist to have it. And the documentaries aren't good, but the film itself is terrible.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
I don't want to.
I probably have years ago, but I haven't revisited it, put it that way.
It's a lesbian vampire film and it's still boring. That's how bad it is. It's like Hammer try to do the sexploitation thing and you're still just get it over with. Please finish soon. It's so terrible.
Well, seeing you mentioned sex, I'll go down the sex line with Caligula, which I haven't rewatched. The Andy Sidaris 12 film DVD set.
I've got that.
And obviously Russ Meyer, even though Russ Meyer to some people is an auteur, which I kind of lean slightly towards. There's more going on in these films than people think. But Andy Sidaris, that's hard to justify. Because even with what his films are about, which are spies in bikinis blowing things up, they're actually quite dull. They should actually be. He even can't make them that exciting or interesting. That's how bad he is.
That's what it sounds like. Lust for a Vampire. It should be any more interesting than it actually is. Yeah. I've got Caligula, but I haven't watched it. It's one of the ones I've got to watch soon. I can add to that Showgirls, because I'm a Paul Verhoeven completionist.
I don't have Showgirls.
Yeah, I've got it as a completionist. I don't really like it, but I've got it. But yeah, it's pretty boring.
Does it not even count as a train wreck because it's too dull?
It does, because it's weirdly interesting in some scenes and then it gets dull and it's weirdly interesting. Plus, Verhoeven obviously hates everyone in the film and it's kind of funny to see how cynical the film actually is.
Yeah.
But it's not that good.
Is there a commentary?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm sure some editions will have it, but it's not from Verhoeven.
Because Verhoeven commentaries are really good.
Yeah. I think he knows just to leave this one to die and leave it to a cult, and he's okay with that. It just, he went and picked up the Razzie for it himself. Yeah. So, I've got it, but it's one of those ones I've got just to have in my collection, but it's probably no Caligula. I haven't seen Caligula, but I'm sure Caligula's better than this.
So, speaking of being a completionist, or part way to being a completionist, the Dr. Goldfoot films with Vincent Price, Dr. Goldfoot in the golden bikinis and Dr. Goldfoot in the girl bombs, they're really quite awful. The scenes with Vincent Price are obviously good, but without Vincent Price, they're just awful. The second one, the girl bombs, was actually directed by Mario Bava, but you wouldn't actually be able to tell. He has a couple of Italian comedians who are obviously kind of the Italian Laurel and Hardy, but they just do not translate. They're just terribly unfunny. Yeah. And the films are just leaden.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I've seen the box set, but it's like it's always something else I'd rather buy than buying something you know is going to be bad. It's like,
fortunately, the box set has Master of the World on DVD, not Blu-ray, which is by far the better film out of the three.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's but yeah, I need to get it at some point, but not at the moment. I'm not that.
Yeah, I wouldn't rush.
Yeah, but since we're into kind of that kind of, we have covered like Showgirl and Caligula, I should bring up Howling 2, which has the
of course I didn't actually write that down, bizarrely.
Werewolf sex, and
yes.
I've got it as a disc only title because I bought it for £2.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you buy these people who sold stuff from Love Film went out of stock. When the Love Film went, they'd all this old stock, and they'd be able to buy Blu-rays and stuff, old Love Film stuff, and so they were selling all these Arrow things. So I had a massive Arrow collection from ex-Love Film, and one of them was Howling 2, and it's insane. It's nuts. It's now into the crazy as hell films that you own and kind of enjoy how crazy they are.
Yes, Christopher Lee turned down a famous film which I cannot remember to do the Howling 2.
Yeah.
And he just looks lost.
It's terrible. It's just, but it's also wonderful. I mean, the lead romantic couples are so bad in this film that you wonder why they were ever hired for anything. They were just so terrible.
Anything with Sybil Danning's worth a watch.
I know, she's so much fun in it. And that sex scene where she's the wolves and stuff is so funny.
Yeah.
Especially the behind the scenes stuff where you get them talking about the fur falling off all the time and how awkward it was, and it's just like, wow, that's amazing. That's terrible. But
yeah, well done, because I'd completely forgotten about that.
I've got a few obvious ones that I've already admitted to owning that I should just list and get on with it.
Okay.
Exodus 2 special edition. I've got that where you get both cuts. The film.
I haven't seen it for so long. I probably need to revisit it.
It's I love it, but and I've been very public. I love it. So, but it's wonderful and weird and utterly barking mad. The way only John Boorman can be, really.
Yes.
I've also got Congo with Killer Apes and Tim Curry. You know, it's amazing. I
really should get it for Tim Curry.
It's wonderfully odd. It actually looks very nice in Blu-ray, so it looks a lot better than it ever should. And it's pretty cool. And there's also the Brothers Grimm, Terry Gilliam's worst film. It's pretty unwatchable. It's pretty trashy.
Yeah, that is a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's like I've seen it once, and it's like I kind of want to watch it again just to see if it's as bad as I remember it being, but also don't really want to watch it again.
Yes.
But yeah, that's pretty awful. It's not as much fun as Alexander, which is Oliver Stone's worst film. This one's just boring. It's not fun bad, it's just bad.
Yeah, again, bad is the final straw. We can take train wrecks, but if your film's bad and boring and dull, then that's really bad.
Yes. Where are you going?
Well, just so we don't think that it's just English language filmmakers that make duds, I'm just going to mention a film by Takashi Miike, Silver, which is his female wrestling film, which again should be way more interesting than it is. I mean, it's Takashi Miike, but I suppose when you make 40 films a year, you're going to make some dull ones, and Silver is certainly really quite dull. I only have it just because it's Takashi Miike, but I doubt I'll revisit it anytime soon.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, it's one of his obscure ones for a reason.
Alright, I literally never heard of it. It was like, and I've got quite a lot of his weirder ones, so it's like I'd assume I've heard of it because it's one of those ones that's it should be.
Yeah, because you think with Miike, even when his films aren't particularly successful, there's always something in them that you've never seen before or something that's interesting. Silver has none of that.
Yeah. I've got one that's English language film, but it's amazing that someone wrote it in English, because it, like Alexander, it feels like it was written by an alien. Which is Transcendence, the Johnny Depp one.
Is that the bank robbing one? No.
No, this is the one where Johnny Depp gets killed early on and his brain gets put to AI. And
I haven't seen that one.
It's all about AI, and it's all about the terrors of AI and stuff. And you think that would be quite good. Johnny Depp is a weird character. AI, lots of science. Christopher Nolan produced it. It's utterly tedious and really stupid, and it's one of those ones that's... It's like, did the person who wrote it speak English?
Yes.
It's just one of those weird ones that... I don't know why I've got that one, but I have it. I don't know if it's one of those ones that's like, why did I buy that? I must have got it really cheap somewhere, but it's... I can't quite remember why I bought it.
Fair enough. I've got one from a director who should really know better. I've been on a Mike Hodges tear recently.
Yes.
So I picked up Morons from Outer Space.
Ooh.
Which bizarrely I saw in the cinema when I must have been about 11.
Yes.
It's terrible. He didn't write it, which it was Griff Rhys-Jones and Mel Smith who wrote it, because Mike Hodges generally writes his films, or at least co-writes.
Yep.
I thought it would be dumb fun. It's not. It's terrible.
Is it just boring, or is it?
Yeah, it's really leaden for what's supposed to be a comedy. It's just like terribly unfunny, and it's quite dire.
Because I put that in a pack somewhere, one of those sci-fi movie packs.
Yeah.
I've got it there, but I haven't ever the urge to watch it. 'Cause I heard it was bad, so it's
yeah,
been...
but I vividly remember seeing it in the cinema when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know whether what I thought of it then, but certainly now.
I remember seeing a Cannonball film in the cinema. So,
Boys in Blue or something?
Yeah. So, we've all got those tragic pasts that traumatise us to this very day. But most of us know better than to buy them afterwards.
Yes.
Except for you and me, because we do not know better. We buy them.
It was very cheap on DVD, that's my justification.
Alright. Still not much of a justification.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Not for that one.
Yeah. I've got two crazy as hell mega budget disasters for recent years that I'm actually proud to own both of them, because they're wonderful, but they're not made by people who are sane.
Fair enough.
One's Gods of Egypt.
Oh dear.
You seen it?
Yes.
It's terrible, but it's wonderful.
Yes.
It's utterly crazy.
It's a notch below the Scorpion King.
I would say it's a notch above most films that are crazy. This is just terrible, but wonderful. If you like bad Egyptian myth films, the thing is, it's one of those films, I know why. If somebody says they hate it, I know why. But I can never adore it because it's so weird and odd. But it is one of those films that this feels like it's made by people who don't know English sometimes. I mean, the lead actor was terrible in it, the young guy.
Yes.
He is so appalling. You're looking at it as if to say, how the hell did he get hired for any film? He's so bad. But it's just odd. It's an oddball one. So I take it.
Sorry.
I take it I'm the only fan of this one here.
Yes.
Alright. I'm okay with that one. I get it.
That's fine.
The other one is Geostorm.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I guess it's on Netflix. It's Gerard Butler, the king of trash.
The sign of quality.
Yeah, because also from Gods of Egypt.
Yes.
This was at its peak of crazy as hell. Where I think he was choosing scripts by how insane they were, and how they should not get made. If a film should not get made, he'd say yes to it for a while. This is like a weather thing that can control weather, and then it gets it malfunctioned, and it turns out it's been malfunctioned on purpose because someone wants to control it. And it is a film. The first 15 minutes are so bad, so incompetent, so out of their mind, stupid, that I was laughing my head off through the first 15 minutes. And I actually thought I was going to die of laughter because it was so wrong in every possible way.
It sounds like a Bond villain plot.
But I've done really terribly. It's like it's done so incompetently that it's just amazing. And it's so stupid. And they've got people like Ed Harris in it and stuff, like phoning their performance in, and it's just so it's just so wrong, but it's wonderful. It's
so right.
Yeah, it's like you couldn't do this one on purpose. You know, you could not make that film this bad on purpose, but it's. I just want to watch it right now, just from talking about it. It's mad. It's just so mad. I'm definitely going to recommend it to the Folgers and Ashers for one of them, at least. I think one of them deserves this one.
Well, I'll just briefly talk about The Law of Diminishing Returns. The sequels of two films that I really like. One's The Prophecy with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
The sequels for that, he's in them less and less. Eventually gets replaced kind of by Vincent Spano. They just get worse and worse. And the Hellraiser sequels, I love the first film, even though it has obviously flaws. It's not perfect, like all Clive Barker films. But the sequels just get progressively worse up until... I think I've only got maybe 5 of them. I don't have all of them, but again, The Law of Diminishing Returns, Pinhead just gets less and less, turns into a cartoon character.
Yeah, I've got them as well, but I figured you were going to talk about them, so I was trying to leave them off, I think. I thought you'd get them too. They're terrible. I like the first 2 Hellraiser films, but even the second one's not that good. And then the third one gets really trashy. The fourth one's a mess, and I stopped watching.
Yeah.
And Prophecy, I've only seen the first one. I've got them, but I haven't watched them.
I have 2 and 3 because of Christopher Walken, but again, he's in them less and less. And then I think they're actually up to about 5, but I haven't actually seen those ones.
Yeah, because there's a box set from America I bought that had them in Blu-ray. The same, the Hellraiser sequels. I need to watch them still. I was going to watch the Hellraiser ones over Halloween, but I felt that my time was worth something better than that.
Yes.
So yeah, I've got 2 bad sequels as well. I've got Speed 2 Cruise Control. Have you seen that one?
I don't think I've seen it all the way through, to be fair. So I can't judge.
That's a wise decision. It's terrible. But it's one of those films, right, that is so bad that I'm obsessed by it because it's so wrong in every way.
It's Willem Dafoe, isn't it?
I know, but he's boring in it, and he's got leeches. He's all these leeches on him to take out the poison that's killing him, and it doesn't make any sense. And Jason Patrick's now the new lead, and he's dull in this film. And there's all these action scenes that are boring and don't make any sense, and there's also these weird ideas that look as if they could be cool, but they're shot so badly that, and the pacing's all over the place, and everything's wrong about it. It's like so wrong in every way. It's like the script's terrible. What they set up doesn't join together at all. It's just a total mess of a film in every possible way. They've made every bad decision you could possibly make in a sequel.
Who directed that one?
Jan de Bont directed the first one.
Oh, right.
And it's just so bad that I kind of love it because it's like a textbook of what you don't do in a sequel. So obviously I keep buying this one because it's so terribly wrong. It's a disaster, and I don't know why I saw the cinema, and even then I was like, what's going on?
The sequel that I really like, even though it's stupid, is Under Siege 2.
Yeah.
The one that's on a train. Yeah. And it has that brilliant moment where the mercenaries find out that it's Steven Seagal, and of course they're all like, he's the best, and he trained me at Fort Bragg, and he's like fantastic. And Everett McGill is just wonderful as the lead of the mercenaries. But it's completely stupid, but...
You'd love it though.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And I've got Highlander 2 Director's Cut.
I thought that would come up.
Yes. I have mentioned it a few times, I've got it. This was a notoriously failed film that took forever. They shot it in Argentina. It was out of control. The director was fired so many times. The script was totally bits and didn't make any sense. There's sequences where you can see the wires as they might be flying this hoverboard, then you can see the wires. And it's just terrible. But the director coming back and sorted some of it later, where he took bits, he shot one or two other bits, he put stuff back in so it can make sense of what is meant to be happening.
Yeah.
So it's now comprehensively weird rather than incomprehensibly weird.
That's an improvement.
Yeah. Still batshit crazy, but I still kind of love it for how crazy it is, because it's just so wrong. I challenged the Folger Nash duo to watch this one, because I challenged them.
Yes.
Let's see what they're made of if they get through this one. Because it is objectively bad, and Sean Connery's in it for 10 minutes. This is the worst performance ever in a film. He's so phoned it in. He's so terrible in it. But it's another mess you couldn't make up. It's another mess that could only happen in the worst, most dire circumstances, which makes it bizarrely lovable, because it's kind of brain dead. The whole film's brain dead, and it was ambitious, but it went completely haywire. So,
well, I've got a fairly awful slasher series that I got on a steelbook in a job lot. That's my excuse. Which is the Hatchet trilogy, which I think has spawned another film since, or a reboot. It's essentially set in the bayou in Louisiana, about a malformed guy who kills people, strangely enough.
Yeah.
And it's the same film 3 times. Tony Todd's in it, slumming it, and they're just pretty awful. The steelbook's quite nice though, but the films aren't.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. My friend cousin James, who I do 2 Idiots with, has them, and he's tried to push me to watch them so they can do 2 Idiots on them. So I may get to them. It may be. There's a film we were going to do that I've left off this list, right? It's going to come up in a week or 2.
Fair enough.
That's absolutely terrible, but I'm leaving it off because I'm going to cover it in so much more detail than I ever want to.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, let's mention the film that has the reputation as the worst film ever made, Ed Wood's Plan 9 from Outer Space, which, to be honest, is far from being the worst film ever made. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, the acting's not great. Yes, people bump into sets and things. But it has a charm to it. There's a naivete to it. And it's by far not the worst film ever made.
I know, I've seen much worse than that.
Yeah, but that's its reputation, but it's unfair.
Well, that's when there wasn't that many films out there that was getting that reputation.
Yeah.
Now we've seen so much worse that it's like, no, that's part of the charm, it's fine. It's not good, but it's fine. It is what it is. There's so much worse. I mean, I always think that if a big budget film is that bad, that's much more damning than a low budget film being bad. It just is. But it's also, if a big budget film's a disaster, I kind of want to see it, because it's like, as soon as I see a film with a reputation of total disaster, it's like I instantly want to see it.
Yeah.
Instantly, it's like, I need to see this thing. It's like Cats. So I'm not going to watch it in cinema, but I will see it at some point, because it looks terrible. It looks like, as soon as you saw the trailers, I was like, oh yeah, this is a train wreck. This is a train wreck in every possible way. There's no way this can be good.
Seemed like a good idea at the time.
I don't think it was. I think it was a bad idea always. I mean, doing an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical as a film always sounds like a bad idea.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I've just... Sorry, on you.
On you go.
I was just going to say, I've just got one that, again, I saw in the cinema in the 80s, which is Warlock, with Julian Sands and Richard E. Grant and Laurie Singer, which isn't necessarily bad, but watching it again, it is a bit of a mess. And again, I think that spawned 2 sequels, which I haven't seen.
I haven't seen any of them, but yeah, it's
Richard E. Grant is Scottish in it. That's all I'll say.
Is it as bad as it sounds? Because it sounds like it could be a bad accent there.
It's quite a bad accent. It kind of goes up and down.
Right. It just makes you cringe the thought of that. Richard D. Grant is Scottish. I mean,
yes,
he seems to have the one voice ever in any film he's in. It's like...
Yeah. He was branching out in this one.
Yeah. So, I was... well... I didn't know I was released in cinema.
Yeah, I remember seeing it in the cinema.
Wow. So that's...
And it's taken me 30 years to get it.
Oh, well,
that might tell you something.
That's weird. I've got two films from the 90s from a famous director who's peaked in the 80s.
Uh-huh. Intriguing.
John Landis with Beverly Hills Cop 3 and Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah. I couldn't believe Blues Brothers 2000.
Yeah.
Or Beverly Hills Cop 3, to be honest.
Yeah. I saw Beverly Hills Cop 3 when I was working in Butlins. And I was working on those kind of all those theme parky rides and music things. So it kind of amused me when I saw it, because it was like, that was the hell I was living in at the time, because I was working there as a student over the summer holidays.
Yeah.
And Blues Brothers 2000 is a total mess of a film, which even John Landis admits to, but the music's good in that film. It's got good music. Yeah. It's just the bits without the music is a problem. So I own both those films, and I can't defend it, but I own them, and I'm happy to own them because I'm weird.
Yeah, I mean, at some point I'll probably pick up the 3-disc set of the Beverly Hills Cop at some point when it's really cheap.
Yeah. I've also got to defend Beverly Hills Cop 3 as not been as bad as the second one.
I don't think the second one's that bad.
It is. It really is. It's terrible.
Who directed the second one?
Tony Scott.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind Tony Scott, but just that Tony Scott, that era is like, or the Top Gun era, is like not a fan of, and but the second one's pretty, bad. But the third one, I'm okay owning and admitting to.
Fair enough.
It's like, but yeah, they're not good films. But I'm a big John Landis fan from the 80s, so I've got stuff that's the Amigos and stuff. So it's like, you become a completionist and even kind of a soft spot for even the bad films of a director you like,
I think Into the Night is fantastic.
Yeah. I need to watch that again. But
it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff. The one he made recently, Burke and Hale, it's not that bad either.
No. Again, that's got Tim Curry in it for all you Tim Curry completists.
Yep. It's a nice little film. So at least his last film he made is not terrible.
Yeah.
That's a good sign. So I have to admit, I do own Alien vs Predator 1 and 2, and I don't know why I got them. I've no idea why I've got them.
I only own the first one.
But I don't know how I've got them though. It's like...
What do you mean you don't know how you've got them?
It's like...
You must have paid money at some point.
I know, I must have... my theory about it is I must have bought them when I was first getting Blu-ray, because there wasn't much out. And they must have been available. And
Fair enough.
It must have been that, because it's like, why do I own these? Because I've seen them over years in my collection. It's like, I can't remember buying that. What the hell was... So I think I got them really early when I first bought a Blu-ray, and I was just trying to build up my collection. So, but it's like, because they're both terrible films, but they're not. Yes. They're not interesting terrible films, really.
The first one's okay.
No, it's not.
From a distance.
No, it's not.
If you squint your eyes.
No, it's not. It's not. It's terrible.
The second one's unwatchable.
Yeah, I know. That's why I recommended to SGS to have Isaac.
Yeah.
I was being a total dick.
It's just awful.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible. I just don't know where I got it. It's like, do you know those films in your collection where you must have bought it, but it's like, I can't remember buying this. I just can't remember the context or why I would buy it.
I think you're protesting too much.
Yeah, but if I knew, I'd be okay with it, but I don't know.
You probably have the collector's edition with...
I've only discs. I don't know where the hell they came from. So, like, I owned up to Highlander 2. Okay,
Yes,
I've owned up to Exorcist 2, the special edition, Speed 2,
edition.
Speed 2. I've got Speed 2. I owned up to Gods of Egypt. I'm,
fair enough.
you know, it's like I'm
You definitely win. You definitely win.
yeah. I'm just saying I don't remember buying these ones. I don't remember at all buying these. I'd be happy to admit it. I mean, I've used Transcendence, a bit to Transcendence.
Maybe alcohol had something to do with it.
It could have been. I might have been. I might have actually have pressed. I've been on Amazon one night when I'd been drinking, and
Yes.
the next day I was like, "What?" But I should say I have bought Predator in 4K, the original Predator. It was
Excellent.
in sale, so I was like, so that redeems me, I think, in some way.
Yes.
So I've got one Pieces, which is shameless trash, and I have no regret for owning it.
Yes, I have PCs too.
It's utter trash, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You know, it's actually one of the 80s one that's like, yeah, because it's got a great tagline. This film's exactly what you think it is, and it is, and it's like, well, they're honest. That's fine. There's not much.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Arrow 80s horror ones that you could probably include, but there's generally a lot to like about them.
Yeah,
They're usually a lot of fun.
yeah. Even sometimes you have to fast forward for a few little bits here or there because they get a bit boring. But there's some good stuff in there, usually.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of hysteria, commentaries from it. Hysteria continues commentaries about films you've never heard of, which are quite good. I do have another one, which is Bonfire of Vanities, because I'm a De Palma completionist.
Yeah, I haven't seen that all the way through.
It's not good.
Don't have it.
It's not good. But I've also included one on my list that is well respected, but I count it as an embarrassment to my collection. It's a Scorsese film from the early 2000s.
Gangs in New York.
Yep, I'm including it. If I'm including Exorcist 2, I'm including that one.
Yeah, strangely enough, I don't have any Scorsese ones with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, no, I just thought that if I was going to include some of these titles, I'm going to include Gangs in New York. It deserves it.
Even Daniel Day-Lewis, his performance either goes from very good or just laughably bad.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
The whole film's like that.
Yeah,
I mean, the sets are nice, but that's it.
Yeah.
But then again, the sets are like they're very theatrical in a Tim Burton way. Not as dark as Tim Burton, but it's obviously a set. Yeah, it feels like a Tim Burton set in a weird way.
That is a good point. It does have that look.
Yeah, and that kind of style of acting as well. It feels like it's from someone else, or it's just not good. And I'll slag it off any opportunity I have. I will slag it off.
Yeah, because it's not good.
Yeah. So, do you want to get my worst film I own? This is one I own. This is the worst one. Anything I've mentioned so far.
This wouldn't be a John Frankenheimer film, would it?
Oh. Nope. I've done Frankenheimer with Island of Dr. Moreau. I don't own Prophecy in Blu-ray. I own it in streaming.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of.
I own it in streaming. I don't count the streaming ones.
Okay.
If I counted what I have in streaming, I've paid £2 for. That's a much longer video.
Yes.
But no. I've only 2 left on my list, but the other one's an addition one that I think will be funny to end with.
Fair enough.
And it won't be a surprise because it's a cover of the video, so I won't be surprised. But the worst film I own is a film called Island of Death, which is an Arrow film.
Yep, I've stayed away from that one just because what I've heard of it.
It is the worst film I've ever seen in my life. I saw it was a video nasty, and I saw it because a friend had it in the early 90s, and it literally is the worst film I've ever seen. It's
what makes it the worst film you've ever seen?
It's so boring and it's so hypocritical. It's about this couple who go around killing people in the most boring ways imaginable. while looking down at them. So they're killing like gay people and lesbians and anybody they look down on, they kill. And then it turns out they're a brother and sister who are having an incestuous affair. And it's just tacky, and there's no theme to it, there's no nothing to it, it's just awful.
Yeah.
And the only reason I bought it was in a £5 for £30 sale somewhere, and I thought, it's good to own the worst film ever made. For your opinion, it's good to have that in your collection, just to say, I have it. If you want to know what the worst film is, I've got it. And that's the worst film I've got in my collection by a mile.
Fair enough, I can't make a judgment because I've never seen it.
You don't want to, trust me. It's better for you not to see it.
I have a bunch of Arrow titles, but I don't have that one.
Alright, so do you have other ones to bring up?
Not really. I was just going to mention The Lair of the White Worm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I don't officially have that yet, but I'm planning to pick up the Vestron one edition of it.
Yeah, I've got it in the streaming.
That's a strange film. It's probably more strange than bad, really.
I know. A lot of people hate it, but I adored it, but it is odd. It's really odd. But if you watch in the right mood, you're going to love it. If you watch in the wrong mood...
There's some things in it that you wonder how they got away with it, but...
It's because Ken Russell was directing, and everyone just thought, it's Ken Russell. I've seen weirder with him.
Okay, so what's your pièce de résistance?
Well, it's a boring one. I've already covered in a video recently. It's Batman and Robin, that I own on Blu-ray. It's the one you have to mention if you own it. It's terrible, but anyone who saw my video with Two Idiots talking about it know that I saw it twice in the cinema because it was so bad. I was like, I needed to see it.
To do a double take.
Yeah, it was. I kind of adore how bad this film is. This is like mega budget. Lots of good actors embarrassing themselves. This is everything you want in a bad film. You know.
Proves money isn't everything.
No. When you manage to make me not include something like Wild Wild West because this one's so bad, you know how bad this is.
Yes.
You know, it's a film that is stupefying how bad it is. You watch actual individual scenes of it, even those are bad. It's like everything they do in this film is bad. It's 100% pure trash. You know.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing and it's awfulness.
What did Schumacher make after that? Or was he allowed to make something after that?
He made 8mm after that, which is also absolutely awful.
Yeah.
With Nicolas Cage, and then he made a bunch of other smaller films, and then his career just kind of died. Because everyone remembered how bad Batman and Robin was. It was the one film that no one would ever let you forget.
Yeah.
There was no excuse for that one. That was like, how can you not see this as going that bad?
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why it's so good to enjoy how bad it is, because it's like, there was no excuse like, at all.
Yeah, at some point somebody must have put their hand up and went, this isn't really going to work.
What, at the script stage it should have been.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it was like, there was no script. I mean, the script was terrible.
But that's the thing, once it gets rolling, it's difficult to stop it in midstream.
I know, but that's why some films are just wonderfully awful.
And they say, oh, don't worry, it'll look okay once we edit it.
Yeah, because I heard in Showgirls, when they were making the film, every night they were doing the dailies, everyone was saying how great it was going well together. And then the director realised afterwards that it was just all these department heads talking about their own work. They weren't talking about the film. They were saying, oh, the set's good type of thing, rather than what was actually going on. And then it was like, oh. You see, some films you understand why they went wrong, but other ones you think, I have no idea how this even got made. And that's the ones I like better, because it's like, someone should have known. How can you not know? But that's what makes a good bad film, is like, even because, I mean, some bad films, the first time you see it, the awfulness of it makes you go, oh my god. And then you get into the second time round after you've seen it, it's like, oh, this is wonderful in its own weird, pathetic way. like sometimes it takes a while for you to really appreciate the awfulness.
Yeah.
You know. Which I think I've embarrassed myself enough.
Yes, I think I'm out as well. So
I know, but you did okay compared to me. Compared to me, you look respectable.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, compared to me, it's like I should also say though, I got breasts on films. I own a lot of good films. This is just my guilty pleasure area. I own a lot of really good films. It's just I own a lot of films, so there's some of them are really bad.
Of course. You have to balance it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's us back after a slightly longer than planned holiday.
Yes.
Our next.
Sorry, I was just going to say, please do include in the comments below the bad films that you collect or have a soft spot for, despite what everybody else says, because again, it's all subjective.
Or despite your own sanity.
Yes.
Those are the better ones, the ones that even you know you can't defend, but you have bought like 3 times because who knows why.
Because we'd be fascinated to read the list.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know all your shameful secrets in your collection. I really want to know the really ones you shouldn't admit to. That's all the better.
Yes.
Yeah. The next video we're going to do is actually going to be about documentaries, like a serious one. So it won't be this trash. It'll be like
a bit of a change.
Yeah, a good documentary. It'll be back to what we're doing normally, which was like the Decalogue and stuff. This is going to be more a serious thing, but we thought this was a good start to kind of just embarrass ourselves, or mainly me, really.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's okay. It's going to get worse when we see some of that stuff I'm doing on my channel. There's 1 or 2 things coming that is going to be like, oh boy, that's embarrassing.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking about all my shame.
It's cathartic.
Yes. So we hope you all have a good week, and we'll be back soon with another episode soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.